Shopify's point of sale system helps you sell at every stage of your business. Need a fast and secure way to take payments in person? We've got you covered. How about card readers you can rely on anywhere you sell?
Thanks. Have a good one.
Yep, that too. Want one place to manage all your online and in-person sales? That's kind of our thing. Wherever you sell, businesses that grow with Shopify. Sign up for your $1 a month trial at shopify.com/listen. Shopify.com/listen.
This is Talkin Rock. Talkin Rock. Your backstage pass to some of your favorite rock artists. Here's your host, Meltdown.
Yeah, we have a lot to get to today on this installment of Talkin Rock, the Friday edition on Halloween. So happy Halloween if you're listening today or this weekend or what have you. Tye Trujillo coming up here in a few minutes. Maiah Wynne. She's the singer of the band Envy of None with Alex Lifeson and Andy Kern. We'll talk to her here coming up next. And then we'll wrap things up and round things out with Primer 55's Joshua Toomey, as they have put the band back together. And Joshua's got a podcast out for the past 10 years, pretty popular one as well. Kind of similar to this one, as a matter of fact. But we'll start with Tye Trujillo. As I record this, Tye is in Australia, playing with the Suicidal Tendencies, opening up for Metallica, his father's band. Man, what a life that guy leads, huh? And he's got some new stuff coming out with his band, OTTO. We'll talk about that. There's already a video out that you can check out from their song, Sweaty Pool. So lots to get to with Tye. First time I've ever had a chance to talk to him. It's Tye Trujillo as he gets things rolling for this Friday episode of Talkin Rock. Hey, Tye, good to see you, man. How are you?
Great, man. Thanks for having me. Great to see you, too.
Yeah. So the new record, Sweaty Pool, I guess the 4-song EP, correct? That comes out at the end of November, early December, depending on which format you want, correct?
Right, correct. Yeah, the digital EP releases on December 5th, and then the vinyl releases on like the 28th or something.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah, the 28th. Are you a vinyl guy at all? Any of your buddies vinyl guys?
To be honest, me, not really. I don't really listen to much vinyl, really. I mean, I should get into it, but I know like some people like are into vinyl, you know, a lot of people are into it. So I should get into it though. I should.
Yeah. So before we get into OTTO, so are you? I'm trying to figure this out because I didn't see the last leg of the Metallica tour. Are you currently in Suicidal Tendencies? Is that another gig for you?
Yeah, currently Suicidal Tendencies. I'm actually I'm leaving to Australia later tonight to do a tour with them.
Wow, what a life, man! That's pretty cool. Who are you touring with? You guys going to be going out with somebody or by themselves?
So we're opening for Metallica on this stretch, and then we have some one-off shows too. On our own.
Oh, okay. I thought Metallica was done for the year, but they got some shows in Australia, you tell me.
Yeah. It was just pretty killer.
No, that's awesome. So, real fast, were you friends with Sam Rivers?
I actually haven't met him, but he was, man, rest in peace, gone way too soon. He was a great player, and it's just yeah, it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, especially when you get in this business like I am. We've lost a lot of our favorites, especially this year with the Ozzy and stuff. You knew Ozzy, didn't you?
Yeah, that was shock, and one of those kind of legends that will live forever, no matter what. But it was such a magical day seeing him live.
Yeah, I was gonna say, did you go to the Back to the Beginning show?
Yeah, so I went to that, and it was just I couldn't keep my eyes off the stage. It was like, wow, just the whole day. It was just like incredible.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a lot older than you, obviously. It's like I don't think I've ever seen a rock show like that. That was the metal show of the century.
Definitely, yeah. Did you go too?
No, I had a chance to go with my friend OTTO, who I was just talking about. Which got on, but I didn't have I had a chance, but I didn't go. And of course, now I look back on myself and kicking myself. I should have gone.
Yeah, it was such a magical show. Just every single musicians that got on the stage to jam. I was just like, wow, I can't leave the stage. I can't.
Yeah, Ozzy was like when I was your age, man. I was just an Ozzy fanatic, and just a chance, just the fact that you got to know Ozzy, that's really cool.
Yeah, it was really cool being able to, yeah, to meet him, a couple times. Such a legend and so influential to so many people. So it was like, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I was thinking about this before I started talking to you, that I don't think that I've ever interviewed a guy, or I'm trying to think of any other guys that where their father and the son have both played for the same band. That's like, I think I saw your dad opening up for Metallica in '94 on that tour, the binge and shit tour.
Wow. Yeah. Right. Yeah. They opened up for Metallica back in the '90s. Crazy how the universe goes around.
Yeah, I think the last time I talked to your dad, he was here, obviously for the Detroit Metallica show. And I asked him about, I was kind of surprised when I asked him about this, but I had just gone to see the Motown Museum with Charlie Benante the day before. And he said that he was really influenced by Motown. Do you have any influence on Motown, or is that not in your wheelhouse at all?
Yeah. I mean, I grew up like listening to it. My dad and family were like playing me stuff by different bands. It's more so like funk, I would say, because my dad was really influenced by that, and like he would play me like bands like Cameo and stuff, and like so I grew up like hearing it in the car and stuff around, and yeah.
I think as you get older, some of the stuff that you hear when you're in your youth kind of comes back to you. Maybe not yet, like at your age, but when you get in your 30s and 40s, you're gonna go, "Oh yeah, that's right. I remember that from my dad used to play that."
Yeah, it definitely comes back full circle. That's totally true.
Yeah. So tell me about the new 4-song EP, Sweaty Pool. You got Nick Oliveri on there as well.
Yeah, it's killer. So Nick Oliveri's on the single Sweaty Pool. Check it out. It's out right now. The video's out as well. Yeah, it was just all came together. Just kind of like we had this killer instrumental, which with this kind of weird slap bass line I came up with, and then we just all put it together, and then we were just like, well, we got to figure out like vocally, like we want to like some sort of guest on this, because it just is such a kind of a trippy song. Like it doesn't really have like a certain pinpointed genre to it, I would say. So I just wanted to make it kind of weird and out of the box a bit. And then Nick Oliveri came to my mind because I grew up listening to like his vocals on a lot of his stuff. So yeah, we reached out, and he came on the track, and boom. And then along with that track, the rest of the tracks also have their own kind of cool sound to it. So I'm really excited to push this thing out there and just present it to the world.
Hey, just real fast, I'm going to cut this all out, but for people watching, get a little bit more in the camera angle, unless you don't want to.
Oh yeah, right. But this is right here.
Yeah. Because your chin and stuff. I don't want people to go.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. Here we go. We'll pick it back up for here.
Yeah. Yeah.
So how come a 4-song EP and not like like a full record or whatever?
We wanted to do like a 4-song EP, I think, to just get the momentum started, and keep the fans a little engaged by like just kind of a quick batch of songs rather than like a full record. I think if we did a full record, I think it would take a little longer. So I just wanted to just put stuff out there, just get some stuff out there quickly.
So do you have other stuff that's kind of like still laying around in the recording studio and that?
Yeah, there's still some stuff laying around. Like there's some new arrangements and stuff that we're gonna have in the works. So excited for that too.
Yeah, and all this is going to have to wait till 2026. I mean, you have anything planned for 2026 as far as a tour or other new music or anything?
Yeah, well, a couple Suicidal shows and songwriting, and yeah, just one of them is Coachella, which is pretty awesome with Suicidal.
Yeah, that is really cool.
Yeah.
So
cool.
You've probably talked about this a billion times, but how does one get into Suicidal Tendencies? Obviously, they know your dad and stuff. I mean, was that just a connection, or do you have to audition? How does that work?
Well, the crazy thing is that so like Mike, he knew about my playing for a bit, because after like I did the Korn stuff way back when, and then I came to see some Suicidal shows growing up, so I knew Mike and stuff. I had that connection, but But yeah, I remember I did a fill-in gig actually, one fill-in gig for Raw, their previous bass player. Um, did a fill-in gig and I did that one thing, and then after that, like Raw, the Suicidal was needing like a bass player. So that was coming back after the pandemic. So then Mike asked if I was interested in doing some shows in like 2021. And then yeah, then I agreed to doing it, and we started picking back up, and I've been jamming with them ever since, pretty much.
That's great. So when you join Korn and stuff, what is it like to play with a guy like Ray Lazier? Because I think he's like one of the most talented drummers out there.
Yeah, he's a monster on the drums. It was really cool to be able to play with him as a rhythm section, and like be able to, catch the energy of the crowd and just like get to know all those guys. Like they're one of the bands that got me started playing music. So it was really just an inspiring experience.
Yeah, how many gigs did you play with them? You played a couple tours, didn't you?
I did. So I did one tour, a South America tour for 2 weeks.
Oh, okay.
It was one of the most incredible 2 weeks ever.
I can imagine. You know what I was doing when I was your age? I think I was like, I don't know, being yelled at by my parents to clean my room or something. You're touring South America. That's like unreal. Do you ever realize how like crazy your life is compared to other kids? I mean, you grew up in a different part of the world than I did for sure, but it's kind of insane.
It is kind of insane. Yeah. I'm grateful for it, and I always keep pushing myself to keep keep working on it and keep it going, because I think just I feel like I'm meant to be on that stage. So yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, where does that drive come from? Does it come from your parents? Does it come from seeing your friends, or where does that come from? That drive?
I think it comes from the feeling of playing live. I think the feeling of seeing other people play live and the feeling of being on stage myself is just, I want to keep chasing that feeling, and just I want to keep the momentum going. Yeah.
One of the other things I remember talking to your dad about when he was here in Detroit a couple years ago was, I think he said he mentioned going to a club and with Geddy Lee from Rush, and I don't know if you were with him at that point. What do you think of the Rush thing coming back? Because I mean, Geddy Lee, obviously one of the most skilled guys out there as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Geddy Lee, legend. I think it's really cool, and I want to see them live. I've never saw them live, like at an actual show. So I would love to see them play.
Yeah. Speaking of great drummers, Neil Peart I had a chance to see live a few times. That guy was on a different planet.
Oh yeah, definitely. He's on it. Yeah. And he wrote all the lyrics, right? Like it's crazy.
Yeah, he was a lyric writer as well.
Yeah.
Who writes all the lyrics in your band?
So that was, it's mainly our vocalist writes all the lyrics. But then sometimes I collaborate and write lyrics, like, with people. So, depends.
Now, obviously, with your dad being in all sorts of bands for years and a legend himself, I see you got guitars and basses and, KRK speakers behind you and stuff. How musical is your household and like your life? Are you constantly surrounded by music?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of music going on in the house. Like my sister's a drummer, so she's practicing drums a lot, and she has her bands. And then my mom likes to make music, and then my dad, obviously, and then so there's always music going around, like always creativity, which is great.
I heard you talking about your sister being a drummer at one point. Is she older or younger than you?
She's younger, yeah.
And do you guys ever like jam?
We have jammed before, yeah. It's fun. We're into like some of the same bands, like similar bands, so it's cool that there's like a connection there.
Yeah, what kind of bands are you into?
I mean, I'm big into like just a lot of like some of the 90s stuff and some of the 2000s stuff, but like, like Queens of the Stone Age, like Eagles of Death Metal, Failure, Alice in Chains. Yeah.
Yeah, Alice in Chains is probably my favorite band from that era. But yeah, you mentioned a bunch of a couple Josh Homme projects. So
yeah,
he's an influence on what you do, huh?
Yeah, he's killer. He's great. He did a record with Arctic Monkeys too, I think, producing them. It was really cool.
Yeah, he's got his hands in a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it's killer. I like that he keeps like that inspires me because I like to be creative in all like sort of platforms and just do a bunch of fun stuff musically and without any really rules.
Why do you feel you have rules now in Otto or no?
No, I think when we all get together, I think it's very natural, and I think we just kind of we build off of each other.
Mm-hmm.
We come into the space with an open mind, and we improvise and come up with great stuff. So yeah, I mean that's one of the great things about it is that I think we don't have any rules, and that's kind of one of the things that I like really respect about like a lot of the bands I listen to is that they don't really have any rules on their musical styles. So it pushes me to be like, yeah, I want to do that with the band I play in and with everything musically I do.
Now, one of my friends, I remember walking out of a hockey rink one time, and he is a legend in hockey, like a first-time All-Star, first-time Hall of Famer, the whole thing. And now he was walking out of his kid's practice, and I said, "Does your kid listen to you when you give him advice?" He goes, "Absolutely not. He never listens to anything I say." My son's kind of the opposite, where he listens to me when I tell him stuff like, when it comes to sports or whatever. But I mean, how much do you listen to your dad about stuff like as far as writing, maybe? Musical interpretation? Do you bring stuff to him to listen to or what?
Yeah, I mean, I do. And I listen to him because, he's been he's been on the world longer than me. And I really think, listening, to people who are experienced in, what you do is really like, might as well do it. And, and see what they have to say. And, yeah, it's good. It's good to listen to all forms.
Yeah. Outside of him, who are some of your other bass influences? And you started out playing drums too, didn't you?
Yeah. I was messing around on drums when I was like 2, for a bit. So that was like kind of my first musical, thing, but, yeah, bass players, my family friend, and my good friend Armand Sabaleko, he's a great songwriter too. He's an amazing songwriter, amazing bass player. Him, and then Justin Chancellor from Tool, great bass lines. Nick Oliveri, his bass lines. Geezer Butler. So, yeah.
Yeah, Geezer Butler. He's another one that wrote all the lyrics.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, he's another one that did all that. It's pretty cool. Like multiple forms of talent.
Yeah, I don't know if you caught his book Into the Void, but that's a good one to read. Maybe on your flight tonight.
Yeah, maybe I should catch it.
Did you see? I just finished Ozzy's book, and he name drops your dad a few times and a bunch of other guys he played with. But man, I remember seeing that era of Ozzy as well. So yeah, your dad's been around my life for a long time, whether inside whether I knew it or not, in some way, shape, or form. But well, listen, dude, I'll let you go here. Sweaty Pool that comes out, like you said, November 28th on vinyl and digital on December 5th, and the 4-song EP. Man, have fun in Australia. That's so cool, man.
Thanks, man. I can't wait, man. I'm a beach guy, so I'm just a travel fanatic, so I'm really excited to just get out there and just play music and just hang out and and meet some cool people, man. And everybody keep an eye out for the new EP coming out very soon, and then take a listen to the single "Sweaty Pool."
Yeah, "Sweaty Pool" that's out right now. People can check it out. It's heavy duty, man. There's no holding back. There's no rules on that one.
Oh, yeah, definitely. No rules on that one.
Tye, great to talk to you. Send your best to your dad from Detroit and safe travels. We'll see you maybe next time you're here.
Will do. Yeah. See you next time I'm out there. Take care, man. Thank you so much.
Maiah Wynne is the singer/songwriter for the band Envy of None. Maybe you've never heard of these guys. Well, this is a band that Alex Lifeson put together with his friend Andy Curran, who was in a band called Coney Hatch, and he's done a lot of stuff with Canadian bands over the years. And this is kind of a funny story. I kind of touch on it in the beginning of this interview, but I was supposed to interview Maiah two different occasions. This was the third try. She kind of screwed up with the time zone thing last week. And then the first time I was supposed to interview her was the day that Ace Frehley had died. And so there was a lot going on that day, and there's just too much going on. So I asked, can we reschedule this and whatnot? But Maiah, very pleasant, really nice to talk to. And she's got a pretty cool story. I didn't know how she got in the band. She talks about that. And yes, she's not Canadian. So, I mean, how does one get into a band full of Canadians? Anyway, she explains all of that and more. Just like the last interview with Tye and the one coming up with Joshua, you can watch this at WRIF.com. Well, they say like third time's a charm, right? So exactly. The first time we were supposed to talk, Ace Frehley had just passed away, and I had a bunch of stuff kind of pile up. And then last week, I don't know, you were in a different time zone or whatever the case was, but we finally made the connection today. So, Maiah, great to see you. How are you?
I'm really good. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah. Now, I was going to say that looks like an awesome room you're in, but it's actually just a backdrop, isn't it? So one of those.
Yeah. I actually am in my studio, but it's really messy. So I was like, I'll throw a really nice looking studio in the background so I can pretend.
Oh, that's great. Where are you?
I'm in my home in the Bay Area, so I'm pretty close to San Francisco now.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, you're over there on the left coast. So, well, great to see you, man. Envy of none, of course. I mean, this is like an obvious hack question, but how do you get hooked up with guys from the other part of the continents for this project?
Honestly, it's so funny, and it really just happened kind of out of dumb luck, I feel like, on my part. But I had been entering a lot of song contests, and this was years ago now. I think I was around 19 when I entered this song contest, and I ended up winning. And one of my prizes was a Zoom mentorship call with Andy Curran.
Okay.
Yeah. And so we got to talking, and we talked about collaborating, and we ended up working on some music together. And then eventually Andy brought Alex into the mix, but he and Alf had been working on some music already. So at the beginning, it was kind of Alf, Andy, and I working on some songs, and then Alex joined afterwards.
Yeah, just Alex. He just walks in. You're like, okay.
Yeah.
So wait a second. Was this contest in Canada only?
It was based out of Canada, but I think it was an international, like, I can't remember all of the different countries that participated in it, but it was the first year that they did it online, and I won the cover song contest for Creep.
Oh, the Stone Temple Pilots or Radiohead?
Radiohead.
Okay, gotcha. So, yeah, because, I mean, Andy Curran, like, back when I was a kid, I grew up in Western New York, and, Coney Hatch would bleed across the border a little bit. So I knew about Coney Hatch and whatnot. And this is like a really crazy story, and I don't want to take too much time away from you, but I had a dream one night about Coney Hatch. I don't even know why. And I woke up to an email saying, would you like to talk to Andy Curran? Like, how weird is that, right? So
it's like, I believe in the collective conscience. I believe that we're all like connected in ways we don't understand.
Yeah, that was one of the most bizarre things I've ever experienced in my life. I'm like, well, that's crazy. I just had a dream about Coney Hatch for some reason. But anyways, then you record this project with Andy and Alex and whatnot. And are your parents, did they have any concept of Rush or Coney Hatch or anything?
Definitely. My parents are big Rush fans, so they were very excited for me. They actually didn't believe me at first when I told them I was collaborating with Alex. My dad thought I was being scammed, and he's like, who is this man? Who are you talking to? So they're very excited for me.
No, that's great, man. I can't even imagine, if one of my kids came home and said, man, I'm working on a project with one of the guys from Rush. I'd be like, I mean, that'd be mind blowing to me. So what were you doing before then?
I was really just trying to pursue music as a singer-songwriter. I lived in Montana for a long time, and then Oregon, and a lot of Pacific Northwest kind of music scene stuff. So I was playing in a lot of like bars and street corners and, whatnot from the time I was 16 years old. And I didn't really have a lot of music connections. So it was really just kind of putting all of myself into it and doing my best with what I had. And that meant entering a lot of online contests and just trying everything that I could, posting covers online and doing everything like that. And eventually some things started to stick, which was really cool.
Now, you said online contests and whatnot. What about like, have you ever tried out for like American Idol or any of those TV shows?
I I have a story about that.
Oh, okay.
I have been scouted by I think a lot of their casting agents will kind of scour the internet for people who are singers and try to cast people on the show. And I've been scouted for The Voice and America's Got Talent and American Idol over the years. I almost did American Idol. I went and did an unofficial audition for the producers and got like an unofficial golden ticket, and then was like really freaked out by the contract and decided not to do it.
Oh, okay.
And then I had a similar experience with America's Got Talent. They scare you into like not talking about anything, so I'm scared to talk about it now, but it was a good experience. But I had a similar kind of mental process in that one as well. But that one I went further through the process because they give you like an initial contract that's like, oh, this is fine. This is just like a talent release form. And then once you go through the next steps and they feel like you are actually going to be on the show, then they give you the like 800-page contract and you're like, what is this?
Yeah, well, I mean, it is life-changing. Same point. It's like, if you don't feel comfortable about it, I guess you got to go, you got to use your own intuition.
Yeah, I think I'm also just like, I lean towards the cautious side when it comes to that kind of stuff. And it probably would have been fine, but some part of my brain was like, ugh.
So did Andy write your contract on a cocktail napkin?
Yeah, pretty much.
No, that's great. So the record came out. Do you guys have any plans on touring?
We've talked about it a lot. We have a lot of desire to tour, and I think it's just about finding the right time, because we would need a lot of time to rehearse and kind of plan what our show is going to be, because we've never really performed together live ever, which is so funny. But it would be really fun, and we all, I think, would really enjoy it. So we've talked about it a lot.
I was going to say, have you ever met Alex?
Yes. Honestly, it's so funny. We work on our music. Like, we spend so many hours on these songs in our studios and doing Zoom calls and emails back and forth. And then our time in person is spent like celebrating and eating food.
So you've been to Toronto?
Yeah, I've been to Toronto a bunch now, and it's always fun. It's a beautiful city.
Are you subconsciously or consciously pulling for the Blue Jays now?
If I were a sports person, for sure.
Go sports ball.
Go sport.
Yeah. So you're a singer songwriter. So you wrote a lot of lyrics for Envy of None, correct?
Yeah, I did a lot of the lyrics, vocal melodies, and millions of vocal layers and harmonies.
Yeah, no doubt. And you know what? I was thinking about this. Alex has pretty much only worked with one songwriter in his life for the most part. Was there any intimidation, or because this is completely different, you just kind of put it out of the back of your mind?
I think I just threw everything out the back of my mind because it's more helpful that way.
Yeah, for sure.
But also, I think it does help that we are so different, like the genres that we're working in, and my life experience and where I'm coming from is so different as well. And so I think while there's obviously universal themes in so many of Rush's songs that anyone can relate to, but I still feel like thematically and kind of interpersonally, I think we just relate in very different ways, and it kind of makes it easy not to sit there and compare them too much.
Yeah, because, Neil was obviously, one of the greatest drummers to ever walk the planet, but he was also a great lyricist too. And I'd be a little bit, I'd be a little bit like, I don't know, maybe self-conscious about what I was doing. But like you said, it is two completely different things. And when Andy approached you about this project, did you think this was going to sound like Rush, or what was your thoughts on this? Or did he tell you what it was going to?
No, well, especially because I had no idea Alex was going to be a part of it.
Okay.
So when we first started, like, Rush wasn't even on my mind. Like, it was never even a possibility in my mind at that point. We were creating, in my mind, it was like going to be sort of electronic, industrial, dark, moody stuff that we were going to be working on. And that's kind of where we started out, just Andy and Alf and I, kind of this, like, a very different approach genre-wise to what we were creating. And then I think a couple songs into it, at least I didn't know Alex was going to be a part of it. Andy might have known, but I was completely oblivious. So once he called me like 3 songs into it and was like, I showed this to my buddy Alex and he's going to play some songs or some guitar on these songs. And that was obviously a very mind-blowing conversation. But it didn't really change the direction of what we were doing. I think it was always kind of its own thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so there's this what is it, a 3-song EP you got coming out now with the Thrill of the Chase, and there's a video, and once again, you're not in the video with Alex, right? It's all cartoon animation, correct?
Yeah, they're real puppets.
Okay, all right, yeah, puppets back down.
Yeah, but it does kind of look like a cartoon animation. They did a really great job, but yeah, this is the first video where we're all in it together, technically.
And, until I see you and Alex and Annie like walking around, I'm not going to believe you even met any of them in person. It was probably just like this.
Could have been.
So no, that's great. Well, congratulations. So that comes out this weekend, if I'm not mistaken. Where does like your musicality come from? Did you grow up in a musical family?
A bit, yeah. I have a lot of musicians in my family. I also have a lot of like teachers and engineers and computer programmers and mathematicians. And so there's a lot of like mathy engineering people who also happen to play an instrument. And you know what they say, like math and music go well together, I think, in the brain. So like my dad plays the piano and I was very influenced by that growing up. My grandpa's a bluegrass musician. He played banjo, mandolin. Both my grandmothers play the piano, and so it's just been nice to like grow up and have those reference points for music. And I learned a lot just by watching both my dad and my grandpa play and just like looking at their hands. And I'm self-taught on almost all of the instruments that I play, and so much of that for me is just visual and like the mimicking of somebody else's hand movements.
That's so funny you say that because my brother plays guitar and he taught himself how to play by watching videos from the 80s, like, you know, all the MTV.
Yeah.
That's kind of crazy.
It works. I feel like some people are just really visual learners, and I'm one of those people. Like if you told me with words what to do with my hands, I would just give you a blank stare.
Yeah.
Nothing would compute.
Right. I know. Yeah. Well, I don't play any instruments. So but I've often said if I can't manhandle a guitar like Ted Nugent, I don't even want to play. That's
it's all or nothing.
Yeah. So besides your family, your grandparents, and what kind of other musical influences did you grow up watching?
You know, I like to think that I have a pretty eclectic music taste, you know, growing up. Everything from heavy rock music from the 80s, you know, grunge in the 90s, singer-songwriter stuff, really underground, more jazz and blues influenced singer-songwriters, little blends of everything, and then lots of bluegrass when I was living in Montana, folk music, little sprinkles of everything. And then living and growing up in Washington, there's a lot of like alternative kind of grunge rock going on there too. And so there's little bits of everything. And I like anything and everything. I think every genre has something that I can connect with.
Yeah, to offer you. Yeah.
Yeah.
So after the record came out and right around the time I was supposed to talk to you the first time, I think, you know, Rush had announced these dates and stuff. Do you see yourself going to some of these shows or multiple shows or?
Yes. I hope I can get extra tickets. I am very excited. It'll be my first time seeing Rush live, so I'm very excited about the opportunity. And it's just that it's already becoming such a huge tour that I just know it's going to be such a like beautiful experience. And I know they have such incredible fans too. Like everybody that I've talked to who has been a longtime Rush fan is like, I've seen them 87 times. And I'm like, how? That's so amazing.
Now, have you seen the movie I Love You, Man from 2009?
No.
There's a movie you got to see. The two guys, Jason Segel and Paul Rudd, they're gigantic Rush fans in the movie. See?
Nice.
And Rush is in the movie. So, no, that's great. So will you see the shows like when they come around like on the West Coast, or are you plan on traveling a little bit?
That's a good question. I think for sure one of the LA shows. But other than that, I was thinking traveling could be fun. Never been to Mexico. They're playing in Mexico.
There you go. They might need a keyboard player or something. We don't know.
Exactly.
I think the last show they ever played was in 2015, was at the Forum there.
Yeah.
In Los Angeles.
Yeah. Has it been that long? Was it 2015?
Yeah, 2015, because then, Neil passed away, I want to say, in 2020. Mm-hmm. Right at the very beginning of the year, so it would have been 5 years. But, man, what kind of Rush songs do you like?
I like Kid Gloves is one of my favorites.
Okay.
The Past. And I also really like some of their softer stuff too, The Trees or Tears, which I think is an underrated song. There's so many good ones. And I feel like it really depends on your mood. There's so much variety and so many records that you can comb through and find something that will suit the mood that you're in, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, I think it's really cool too that Envy of None is completely nothing like Rush.
Yeah.
And Alex is like all about it. I talked to him about it like back in the spring, and it's like describe the band to someone who's never heard it.
It is very eclectic, a good variety of pop, rock, alternative, grunge with some like sprinkles of world instruments, and like haunting soft vocal layers.
Yeah, I think that nails it. Yeah, no doubt. Working with all these guys from Canada, have they turned you on to the Trailer Park Boys yet?
Yes. I've been hearing a lot about it, and I know that Alex was in it. So it's actually my parents the other day. They're like, you have to watch this episode. So I watched one of the episodes that Alex was in the other day.
So was it one where he got, where the guys took him hostage?
Yeah.
Oh my! And they taped him up.
So good. Yeah.
That's hysterical. Well, listen, I couldn't be happier for you. Envy of None is out right now. Like you said, the Thrill to Chase is coming out this weekend as well. And it's really cool to connect with you. And I've already told Andy about the Dream thing, but you don't have to tell him that, okay?
I'm going to tell him that. I think he would be delighted.
We're just going to leave it there and not tell Andy about any more of my dreams about Coney Hatch. So,
I think, honestly, he's going to be very happy about that.
yeah. Well, he'd be happy if you rooted for the Toronto. Well, but I think he's a Chicago Blackhawks fan. Maybe that's what you should root for. So,
yeah.
Well, Maiah, so great to talk to you. Good luck with everything. And maybe we'll see you on tour. That'd be really cool.
Thank you so much. It's really great to talk with you.
Rounding out this episode of my non-award-winning podcast is a guy with another podcast, the Talk Toomey podcast. Joshua Toomey is in a band called Primer 55, and they were on hiatus for about 10 years or so. They've put the band back together, and they're playing dates up until, I want to say, just around Christmas time or so. But as I record this on Halloween, November 1st, they're going to be at the Machine Shop in Flint, Michigan, and the following day in Cadillac at the events venue. And I might try to join them up there in Cadillac because they're going to visit that KISS monument at the high school up there, which I was supposed to go to about 3 weeks ago. I had some computer issues on that Saturday, and I couldn't get out of my house in time. It's about a 3-hour drive from where I am here in the Detroit area. But Joshua Toomey to wrap up this episode of Talkin Rock. So how you doing, man? See you.
I'm doing well, man. Nice to see you.
Have you had anybody interview you on your own podcast before?
Ooh, on my own podcast? I don't. Well, maybe, yeah. Actually, yeah, because when I was doing New Pod for Knotfest, my co-host at the time interviewed me because of obviously the Primer 55 angle. So yeah, in kind of a weird way, I think maybe once it's happened.
That's right. Yeah. So yeah, that's right. I forgot all about that. So yeah, you did the stuff for the for Knotfest, and the artists just come over. Did you know you were interviewing beforehand?
Yeah, I even with that show and everything on Knotfest, I still booked myself. So okay. Yeah, it was Knotfest by name, me by everything behind the scenes.
Yeah, because I've been to places like, when it used to be Rock on the Range and whatnot. Mm-hmm. Sometimes, you're like, they come up to you real fast. They go, hey, can you interview so-and-so? And you're like,
oh, yeah, no, yeah, I've definitely been there.
Yeah, and it's like, then you got to kind of start pulling stuff out of your ass. But how many episodes have you done of a Talk Toomey?
Roughly 500 and something. Like, I lost count a long time ago when I stopped, I stopped a long time ago doing episode 381,
Right.
blah, blah, blah. And I just started naming them, whatever the guest was. And I think there's like 550 something uploads, but that's still like, that's short stuff, that's specials, that's, things here and there. So yeah, about 550, I would say.
Yeah, and I'll ask you the same questions everybody asks me. Who are the worst people interviewing? I get that all the time. You don't have to answer that question. I'm just teasing.
No, I mean, the only like real thing I've noticed over the years, and I'll keep it vague, but like the pros, like, if you have an interview set up with them at 2:00, they show up at 2:00. They give you a good 30 minutes and they're gone, or however long you have with them. They're not late. They're not yes, no, maybe, giving short answers. They do tend to give good answers. And it's funny, like the bigger the artist, be it a David Ellefson or somebody, will come in, give you great conversation, and then get right out in their allotted time. And some of the younger bands kind of coming up, they're late. They forgot what time it was. They forgot this. Can we reschedule? And sometimes I look at it, I'm like, that's why you guys stay at that level. Like, you're just not a pro when it comes to even just stupid stuff like my podcast or whatever. No matter who it was, Jason Newsted, boom, he popped up at whatever allotted time. He gave me an hour. At the end of the hour, he was like, thank you for your time. And he moved on. So, I mean, like I think that's a lesson that maybe younger bands can learn is be pro, have some good stories ready to go. Even if the interviewer may or may not ask you about them, weave them in, make it interesting, make it fun for everybody.
Yeah, I find that some of the, you talk about some of the pros and some of the guys have been around, like the Alice Coopers and the Gene Simmons, David Coverdale's, even like Rob Halford's. You can ask them a question and they may not answer the question, but they will give you an answer.
Right. But, that's, we met through David Ellefson and whatnot. And it's funny interviewing him over the years. And that's how the David Ellefson show came about, because at the end of our interview, I'm like, dude, you need your own podcast. Like,
right. I
was, he's a great talker. He's a great storyteller. Every time he says anything, he gets blabbermouth. He gets, all the metal sites. I'm like, dude, you need those clicks for yourself. And he sat there for a second in a very David Ellefson way and goes, all right, let's do this. And I was just like, all right, well, I guess I'm doing a podcast with David Ellefson now. And I went upstairs and my wife always asked me, she's like, how was the interview? Even though she may or may not know who I'm interviewing. And I just kind of looked at her and I go, I think I have a podcast with David Ellefson now. And what's great is, I kind of pitched him on an idea of kind of know what we're doing now of like a 20-minute, he could talk about whatever he's doing, bass story or Kings of Thrash, or, plug the coffee or the basses or something. And then maybe do like a quick story about a certain Megadeth song or something. It was going to be quick, like 20 minutes. He could just call in from the road or wherever he was. And it immediately went to, hey, we should interview people and we should do this and we should do that. And, hour episodes later, 2-hour episodes later, he's fully invested in being a podcaster. It's a lot of fun, man.
Yeah, and it's cool because he's only got 87 other things that he's doing. So,
Right. but it's great. But he makes time. We've I don't know if you've ever had a co-host or really dealt with that, but, they can kind of be a pain in the butt, trying to, hey, can you record on Tuesday night with this certain person? Oh, I've got soccer. My kids have soccer, just anything going on. With David, he's like, we've done episodes where like the guest is in California. I'm in, the Southern Indiana, Louisville area. David's in Germany. It's just like, and we're coordinating, time zones across the world. And it is crazy how everything's kind of coming together with that.
Yeah, no, it is. We live in a different, world. I'm a lot older than you, and when I started doing this business and stuff, it's like, first of all, I did interviews live on the air. I remember I interviewed Lars from Metallica live on the air one time, and that's another story for another time. But then of course it went to audio, and now you got the video component and all this other stuff. But you know what? It's fun, and you get to reach out to people, and in a weird way, you become part of the community that you wanted to be part of growing up. Now, I don't play a lick of an instrument, but I guess in some weird way, I'm a small part of the rock community.
Oh yeah, like it's been fun kind of just being on that side for so long because, in all honesty, I never, ever thought that Primer 55 would ever get back together. Obviously with our singer passing away and our guitar player had some health issues there for a little while. And so I was just like, I'll probably never play live again in a band situation like that because, I'm in my mid 40s now and I'm like, the thought of like starting a band right now sounds crazy. But you know, I've done some stuff, you know, like jam nights and things like that. You know, I've got up and done those, and those do kind of, you know, scratch that itch to get on stage and play some songs and do some things here or there. But yeah, just getting back on stage after all these years is wild. But, you know, being, you know, in the metal media world, you know, you're on Blabbermouth constantly. I'm sure you've seen my stuff constantly on there too. You know, and it's like, that's been kind of fun, and it's kind of hard to kind of compartmentalize. Like on this side, I'm a you know, member of the media, and on this side, I'm a member of a band, and it's kind of wild to kind of live in both of those worlds, and kind of, you know, now I kind of have to really worry about what I say or who I talk about, because, you know, maybe we get offered a tour with those guys, and I have to like, and so, you know, there's been a few, like they've talked about, you know, hey, what would you guys think about touring with this band? And I really have to rack my brain. And I'm like, have I ever talked, you know, bad about them on my podcast over the years? You know, like I have to really like think. I was like, do I need to go back and delete anything? So yeah, it's been fun, kind of being in both worlds, and you know, just kind of getting to be in the media world, because I mean, as a kid, you know, I'm always going to be a fan. Like I'm fan first, and then whatever comes after that's, it's gravy. So, you know, growing up reading Metal Edge and Metal Maniacs, and, you know, just reading anything I could get my hands on, and then, you know, watching Headbangers Ball, and just diving into all that stuff. And then now, you know, getting to interview Ricky Rackman, you know, some of those interviews, I know, you know, people love or hate Ricky Rackman, but I mean, to me, I mean, I was 12, 13, 14 when he was on Headbangers Ball. So like, that was like, he was the coolest dude ever. So, you know, I know he downplays his mark in the music world, but man, I mean, those Headbangers Balls were influential for me. You know, I mean, that's where I found out about Pantera. That's where I found out about a bunch of bands. So yeah, it's been cool to kind of be able to interview the heroes, you know, be it media, be it music, and whatnot. So it's been a fun time.
Yeah, it's funny when I get a text message and it says like, "Do you want to interview Alice Cooper?" I'm like, "Is this a real question?"
Right.
It's like, no, I'm gonna pass. Yeah. But but no, it's crazy. Like where my world is coming, and yours as well. Hey, how the shows go so far that you guys have done?
Dude, honestly, it's been wild. Like I joined the band in 2002. We did, you know, some good touring back then. We kind of like reformed in like 2007 when they put out like a B-sides record, and like nobody cared. Like nobody, like the shows were sparse, and it was kind of, you know, just kind of at a downturn. You know, the nostalgia factor hadn't kicked in yet. You know, everybody had kind of moved on to like metalcore and things like that, you know, musically. And so when it came time to do these shows, I had kind of been bugging our guitar player for a few years. I'm like, because I'm in it every day. I'm interviewing bands. So, you know, as soon as pre-interview, post-interview, they're always like, dude, I listened to Primer 55 in middle school. And, you know, just kind of seeing that era of bands coming back around again. And then I start seeing, you know, Spine Shank and the Union Underground and Dry Kill Logic on Rockville and Louder Than Life. And I'm like, you know, I was like, Primer was right in all that. I was like, we should do something. And then finally, you know, Bobby had some health stuff, and he came out the other side with that. And he was like, it was basically, all right, man, let's do a show. And I was like, all right, well, if we do it, you know, I was like, let's find a booking agent. And through the podcast and just through talking with people, I reached out to Mikey Doling of Snot and said, you know, hey, who's booking your shows? Because similar situation. You know, a band of that era, singers passed away, coming back around, you know, like there were a lot of kind of similarities to Snot and Primer 55. And he hit me up with the booking agent. I kind of cold emailed him and said, hey, you know, would you want to book a Primer 55 25th anniversary show of the first record? A, he might not know who we are, or B, you know, he might be into it. And luckily it was B. So a show turned into like 8 shows in 9 days, which turned into we're about to leave and go do a month with Smile Empty Soul, which is going to be crazy. We just announced some December shows. The dates haven't been announced, but a South America run with El Nino and Head PE was just announced. We got announced for Welcome to Rockville. It's just like every day, like my email or my text messages or something is just blowing my mind. and back to just the original, the original first run of shows, we were kind of curious to see who would come out to these shows, what the reception would be like. And even down to when we were talking about merch, I was like, man, we're just going to need like large through like 4X t-shirts because, everybody's older now. Everybody needs a bigger t-shirt. And Bobby was like, no, man, let's get, we need smalls and mediums and, for the kids. And I'm like, there's not going to be any kids at these shows. And it was 50-50. It was teenagers, people in middle school, high school. Like, it was the weirdest thing because you would walk out and there would be the whole front would be young kids singing deep cuts of the first record. And I'm like, how, like, I want to stop the show and be like, how did you guys find this band? Like, what part of the internet are you guys on to find Primer 55 in 2025? And when I was a kid, when I was 15, 16 years old, back to David Ellefson, I was a kid that hung around the buses and waited all day and, hours upon hours just to see like a glimpse of somebody cool. And like, I caught a few kids doing that this run. Like, I walked out to go grab some food when we were in Texas and a couple kids standing outside and I could just see it on their faces. Like, they were pumped to see me. And I was just like, what? So I stopped and I was like, well, I kind of like nodded at him and said hello, and I kept walking. And then I'm like, dude, turn around and go talk to those kids. And not that I was like big timing him or anything. I initiated the conversation, and they were 14, 15-year-old kids standing outside the venue, hoping to get stuff signed. And I was just like, what world are we living in that people are pumped to see this band again?
No, that's great, man. And the tour, like you mentioned, starts up again coming up Saturday at the Machine Shop, which is kind of insane to say, but that's my 30th anniversary at this radio station.
I saw that, man. That's wild.
Like insane, right? So, but anyways, then the second night, you guys are going to be in Cadillac, and of course, you're talking about Ellefson. Are you going to go see the Kiss Monument at the school?
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as I saw the tour dates, come through, I saw Cadillac, and I was like, well, I was like, I guess the football team's having a tough time, and they need us to come up there and boost their spirits or whatnot. But yeah, man, I'll definitely. I'm a massive Kiss fan. One of the reasons I play any instrument is because of Ace Frehley, rest in peace. And so I will be actually when I just saw Ellefson a couple of days ago, and we talked about that. I was like, how far is the Cadillac, memorial or whatever, from the venue? And he's like, dude, it's like 5 minutes. I was like, all right, I'm going. I've got to go to that.
I may have to meet you guys up there because I was telling him that I was going to go up for all the anniversary stuff in the beginning of October, and I had these computer issues and I couldn't bust out of my house early enough on that Saturday. But it's about a 3-hour drive from me, so if I can get my stuff done, I may have to make the trek up there because I've never been up there either to check it out. And of course, at the passing of Ace, I saw David's picture. They got like flowers and stuff around that memorial now too. So.
Yeah, this again, I said like, this was supposed to be one show, and now like I'm planning on going to Cadillac, Michigan to see the 50th anniversary of them playing up there, kind of memorials and things like that. So yeah, it's definitely I'm like in an indefinite pinch me mode. And back to the David Ellefson show and things like that. I had talked to my wife late last year, and I don't know if you get this way. I get, kind of not burnout, but just kind of like, what, I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to do something else. And 10 years of the podcast, it's been fun. I got paid well from Knotfest. We get it's fun to get blabbermouth headlines and, the craziest, they pull the craziest stuff they can find from our shows and things like that. And I was like 10 years is a good round number. I just hit it back in September. So I was like, I'll make it to 10 years of the podcast, go off into the sunset, say thank you, good night. And I just happened to back in January ask David if he wants to do a podcast. And I was like, all right, well, that's bringing me back in. And then Bobby pops up and he's like, hey, do you want to do some shows? I'm like, well, I guess that's bringing me back in. Like I was trying to quit all of this. And like, now I'm doing more than I've done in 30 years, like out of nowhere.
Now, Dee Snider talked about this, with the passing of Ozzy and whatnot, and he thought, I'm going to put the band back together. Do you think that might have had something to do with Bobby trying to get things back together as well after getting a scare like that?
I would think so. I think that I would hope so. I mean, I would, that would kind of show everybody kind of everybody's mortality and things like that. But I mean, he was also not, like I said, I was kind of in the trenches and seeing all of the new metal stuff kind of coming back. And I don't think he was seeing that on a daily basis like I was. So I think he was more hesitant going out on these last shows than I was, because I assumed there were going to be people there, because the groundswell of this band over the years, the undergroundness of the band is kind of coming to a point where people were wanting to check it out again. I don't know if Bobby was seeing that as much as I was. So I think he was, tepid to go out. But I mean, we had to reorder merch 2 days into the tour. Like we were going to run out, and like I had to call my guy and, get another 100 shirts overnighted to another club so that we could, so that we didn't run out of merch by the end of the run. Like, I mean, the shows were very well attended. And everybody was buying shirts and posters and stickers and just everything else. This is the best. I'm not going to say version of the band, because obviously with Jason passing, that we'll never have that back. But this is the best like business version of the band, because 20 years ago we were all drinking and doing whatever and not focusing on the business side of it. We were all chasing ladies and all that nonsense. And so like this time we're all married men going out, all right, we can, treat this as a proper, touring business and, make a few bucks, but also just have a good time and just really bask in what's going on. So yeah, I think Bobby had the health scare and, hey, let's try it one more time. Let's see what happens. And I know from just the talks that we've all had, the band sat down after the last show and just, we all looked at each other like, what just happened? Like that was good. Like none of us expected the fanfare and the kids and the singing along and the merch sales and just everything was so positive for this first run. So I'm excited to see what happens with this run with Smile Empty Soul.
Well, I'll tell you what, you're starting off at a great place. Have you played at the Machine Shop before?
Yeah, we actually played there, I think in 2002. I would assume it was a very I think the venue opened in 2002, but I think it
was pretty close. Yeah.
Yeah. We played there, like November of 2002. And then technically we were supposed to play there, in 2007, but that's like that was like, I think that was the first show after our singer just left the band. So we were just, he left us mid tour and we were just kind of like, well, I guess I remember we went to the show, but we didn't play the show. But yeah, I've been to the Machine Shop a couple of times, and obviously of all venues in, small towns, for that one to be so like world famous, like just, everybody's always wearing the shirts. Every show seems to be sold out. It's like such a hub for music to be, kind of what is Flint technically a suburb of Detroit?
Yeah, well, it's an hour away. It's
okay.
Yeah. But you talk about people wearing the shirts. I don't know if you noticed or not, but I know you're a Pantera fan. I see your Cowboys from Hell tattoo and your Pantera guys. Yeah. You, Vinnie Paul was buried in a Machine Shop shirt. Did you know that?
Oh wow, I did not know that. Wow.
Yeah. VP. He was a good dude. When you go in there, you can see some of. They've got some Hell Yeah stuff on the wall in Kevin's office that you can check out. But yeah. So when did you discover Pantera?
I got into them, maybe technically a little late. It was actually Headbangers Ball. They did a special on Far Beyond Driven. I would have been 15 at the time, and I just I watched them. I used to tape Headbangers Ball like every week and then just watch it constantly through the week and watch the videos and the interviews, and they did a whole special where Ricky and those guys went down to the Texas Stadium and they're kicking field goals and it's just something about, like, obviously the music's great, but the guys themselves were so much fun. I've said so many times on my podcast over the years, like, Dimebag would have been awesome on, Instagram Reels and TikTok and things like if you would have gave Dimebag, Vine or any of those things, like he would have been just loving life, because I mean, he was kind of the original vlogger to begin with, you know, and like with the vulgar videos and things like that. And so, you know, I have to thank him for, you know, my early bands, pre-Primer, like we all carried cameras around just because we wanted to be like Pantera. So I have so much footage of me at like 18, 19 years old playing these crappy bars and things like that because of Pantera, because we thought, you know, we're going to document all this stuff and make fun videos and things like that. So yeah, I got into them. It was like the weekend that Far Beyond Driven came out. And then I got to meet them doing the, you know, like I said, kind of stalking the buses thing. 1994, I'm 15 years old. We saw Big Val in the hotel part in the hotel lobby, and you knew all of the Pantera crew because of the videos. So we walk up to him, and he's like, you guys be cool, and they'll be cool, and all this other stuff. So finally, I went into the bathroom, and my friend busted open the door. He's like, Dimebag's checking out of the lobby right now. And, you know, I turned the corner and I saw the big pink beard, and, you know, we went and got photos. And thank God a friend of mine back then used to carry one of those like 35 millimeter cameras around with him. And like, I have so many cool photos from back then, obviously camera phone and all that stuff. So luckily he carried a camera, and I have photos with me and Vinnie Paul and Dimebag and Rex and Phil and just everybody from back then. And so, yeah, I got to meet him then, and I met him throughout the years up until I Damage Plan came through Louisville, where I live now. And I almost didn't go to the show. I wasn't the biggest Damage Plan fan. A friend of mine had like an extra ticket. He's like, you know, come out to the show. Let's have some fun. And so we go to the show. It's a great show. They actually closed with Walk in a New Level. And, you know, they said something. I remember Dime said something like, you know, we're not the reason that we're not playing these songs for you, or something, like, you know, just kind of throwing some shade of Phil and all that stuff. And as we were leaving, I look over and I see a crowd of people, and they're all standing around Dime. And this is 10 years later, almost to the exact day. It was August 94 when I first met him, August 2004 when I last saw him. I had this really weird closure conversation. I'd already toured in Primer. I thanked him, you know, I was like, thanks for the inspiration. I kind of told him what I had done, and he was like, oh man, that's awesome, blah, blah, blah. And like had a really cool closure kind of conversation. And then a couple months later, he was taken from us, man. So, but yeah, Dimebag, I probably met him, 10 times over the years. And for me being a little kid up to my early 20s, man, he could not have been nicer and welcoming and cool to everybody around us, including myself.
Yeah. I'm lucky. There's a whole generation of people out there that have never seen and never will see Pantera. I mean, Zach's out there and Charlie, and I'm not taking anything away from those guys, but you know what I'm talking about. And it's like, I saw him and I got to interview him as well. I interviewed, those guys, I think in January of 04. So they were just kind of starting out with the Damage Plan thing. And then the last time I saw Vinny is actually pinned on my Twitter or my X, because I just can't seem to take it off. But it's like, we were in Vegas, and Vinny had been overserved a little bit.
Nice.
And it was his idea to start a video. So I was like, all right, let's start a video. And so, but
the last time I talked to Vinny, I grew up around Chris Cale from Five Finger Death Punch. Like,
I know him. We played a ton of shows together back in the day. And actually, even in one of my early bands, like when I left to go to Primer, he actually took my spot in my old band, and then obviously kept in touch. He was the best man at my first wedding, things like that. So like we've been very close over the years. And so I texted him one day. I was like, hey man, do you know anybody with Hell Yeah, so I could go to the show? And he's like, just go with me. And I'm like, all right. And he happened to be in Louisville at the time. We go back, and Vinny's, after the show, Vinny's holding court downstairs, telling all these great stories. It was right after they played Rock on the Range. That was the first time he had been back to Columbus, Ohio. And so he was talking about how he was almost more annoyed by everybody asking him how he was that day, rather than obviously being in Columbus, Ohio, because he
he said, yes, it was hard on him, but it was also awful because everybody that he saw, he's like, "Are you doing okay today? Everybody okay?" You know, he was almost annoyed with everybody talking to him. But so yeah, man, I got a nice chat with him, you know, right before he, you know, maybe a year or two before he passed too. So, and again, you know, Vinny was always great to me too.
Yeah, he was great. He used to text me all the time about hockey. That was nice. That was our thing, and that's another story for another time. Well, listen, Joshua, great to make your acquaintance. So we're going to push everybody towards the Machine Shop coming up on Saturday as I record this with Smile Empty Soul, the 25th anniversary celebration, the introduction to mayhem with a Primer 55. And thanks for taking the time and continued success. All right, maybe we'll see you Sunday up in Cadillac.
There we go. This is going to be good times, man. Thanks for having me. This has been great.
And there you have it. Another episode of Talkin Rock is in the can. Thank you so much for listening. Thanks to Joshua and Maiah and Tye as well. Tomorrow, November 1st, marks my 30th anniversary at WRIF, which is insane to think that I came here in 1995. And I wrote about this on the website yesterday at WRIF.com that, I started this podcast. Actually, it was called Radio Chatter for a couple of years. Then we changed the name to Talkin Rock, which is a little bit more of what we do, I suppose. But I started it, I don't know, it's got to be 10 or 11 years ago now, and with the hope of doing one interview a week. And the first interview I did was with my friend Chris Henderson from Three Doors Down. I kind of called in a favor. I'm like, "Hey, dude, would you kick off this podcast?" He said, "Sure." Well, now I get countless emails each week. That's why I started doing this episode, these episodes on Friday, because I'd just be putting podcasts out all the time. And it's like, you know what? I'll just combine them all at the end of the week and let the chips fall where they may. But yeah, now I do upwards of 120, 130 interviews a year, and some with, major worldwide bands, and some with, guys like, that you might never have heard of before, or from smaller bands or whatnot. So anyways, that being said, thank you for checking out the episode. If you've gotten this far, please, 5-star reviews are always great.
Thank you for listening to Talkin Rock with Meltdown. You can help this podcast grow by giving it a 5-star rating and writing a review on Apple and iTunes. Plus, feel free to subscribe and share it with your friends. Until next time, thanks for listening to Talkin Rock.
Wherever you go, whatever they get into, from chill time to everyday adventures, protect your dog from parasites with Credelio Quattro. For full safety information, side effects, and warnings, visit CredelioQuattroLabel.com. Consult your vet or call 1-888-545-5973. Ask your vet for Credelio Quattro and visit QuattroDog.com.